Hello, everybody. We are now on the air on the Vaudacity Network. It is Tuesday night, and you are watching The Piano Man, classical piano and fresh puns with your host, David Benjamin.
Okay, that's enough of that. That was really dirty. If you watched Polly's online variety show this past week, you'll know what that was about. All right, what I just said was enough of that. Now I feel really dirty. My mic was muted, of course. If you watched Polly's online variety show this past week, you'll know what that was about. Hi, Lily. You want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Yeah, we'll say hi to Lily because she's here. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Don't pee on me. Okay, off you go. We remembered to take her collar off too, so the fact that she's over here, I don't know why she's at my feet. She's staring at me. She wants something. I don't know what she wants. She's an enigma. So, yeah. Uh-oh, the stream is still struggling for Melissa. I'm sorry about that. I don't know if there's much we can do. That's probably just an issue with YouTube and your system. Hopefully everybody else it's okay. Yeah, I apologize for no sound at first. My vocal mic was muted, and I purposely muted it just so there'd be no noise when Amanda was introducing me, and then I forgot I muted it, 3 seconds later. So, I've got the chat up so I can maybe try and sort of keep tabs on it on the screen over here. My iPad has decided to not connect to the internet tonight. I don't know why, but it just is refusing to do so. Normally I have the chat up on that. Yes, or as Paul Carganello would call this, an octopus. So tonight I was going. We have a Wendy Walker worthy switcheroo here. I was going to play a bunch of pieces by members of a group called The Five, which also, if you watched my performance on Polly's online variety show this past week, I played a piece by César Cui, who was a late 19th century Russian composer, and he was part of a group called The Five. Or they were actually mostly amateur musicians, but they really wanted to bring about a nationalist Russian style school, if you will, of music. Not a literal school, but a school in this sense is used to denote a particular style that composers follow. So these guys were some of the proponents of that. So I wanted to play that. Unfortunately, due to lack of practice time and the fact that almost every single piece I was going to play is completely new to me, I didn't feel very confident in my ability to play them halfway decently. So instead, I decided to switch to some Chopin, which I used to play a lot. Some of them I haven't played in a long time, so we're going to see how it goes. The fact that I feel more comfortable with Chopin. But yeah, these are pieces I've had in my back pocket, if you will, for probably 20 odd years now. So we'll see how that goes. I think some of them I've probably played on some of these shows before. Some of them I haven't. So yes, Amanda is still learning stuff on YouTube. I mean, that's the thing about doing all this streaming, all this computer stuff, is that it seems like no matter how much you learn, there's always a curveball. And you can go weeks where everything's working great. There's no issues at all. You hook it all up, boom, you're online. It's perfect. And then just out of nowhere, it won't work. I went through that with his webcam, so I don't use it on my show anymore because, hooking it up to these big long extension cords for weeks, it worked perfectly fine. And then one day it just didn't. Don't know why. I mean, the only theory I've got is that the cord coming out of it really needs to be shorter to be on the big giant extension cord because these USB devices lose signal strength the longer the cord is, but unfortunately the cord's hardwired into the camera, so I cannot make it shorter. yes, I can't really test that theory, other than the fact that when it's plugged into the computer here, like for other shows, it works fine. Anyway, all that aside, we're doing Chopin tonight. So as far as in the chat, hello Pam and Kathy B. And I know I saw my mom earlier. Hi, Mom and Dad, and Barbara, and Steve if he's there. And even if he's not there, I'll still say hi. And Emily Thatcher. Emily freaking Thatcher. I can't wait to see and hear, use all my senses, your performance upcoming in a couple weeks when we have the live show. Cannot wait for that. Hey, Paul. Yeah, Paul, Paul said earlier in the chat that he had cut his ankle, didn't want to come home with gangrene. And it occurred to me, gangrene would be a great name for a new environmental political party. Gangrene. Yeah. Hey, Angelica and Melissa Catano, Nick Davila, and Christy, if you're there. Christina, hello. Who else is here? Oh, Anna Gianavola. I know I saw your name in there someplace. Oh, yes, that's right. Paul, I don't know if you saw my mom's comment that, my grandmother on my mom's side was born in Baston. And I was very fortunate to know that she lived long enough to know my grandmother's mother, Ruth, who we always called Mimi. She, after her sister passed, she moved from her retirement home in Florida. She moved out to California to be closer to the family that was living out here. And that was when I was a teenager, so junior high and high school. I think she passed away when correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was 1994 that she passed away, and she was born in 1896. I want to say she made it to 98, and just thinking about she was born just a few years after Johannes Brahms died. I mean, it just like holy smokes. She remembered sitting on her dad's shoulders watching a parade celebrating the end of the Spanish-American War. I have been within living memory of somebody who remembered something I had read about once in history books in junior high or high school, and being this good student that I was and immediately forgot about. She was passed in 1995. Okay. That time period for me, the mid 90s is getting very fuzzy now. That was a long time ago when I was, I graduated from high school in 1995, so I believe, I think she passed before I graduated. Pretty sure. Anyway, doesn't matter now. She was a wonderful person. Loved hearing her stories, and I just feel so fortunate and lucky that I knew her as further into my life than a lot of people get to know their great grandparents, if they get to know them at all. It's pretty cool. And incidentally, the rocket and the jeans comment, that didn't come out of nowhere. I may have said that on my previous show. My great grandfather, Ruth's first husband, was quite literally a rocket scientist. The guy was a chemical engineer, and he was a musicologist. He, in fact, I mentioned him to one of my professors at UC Davis once, and he said, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that guy. He wrote some stuff on Beethoven." That was kind of cool. Brilliant guy. Anyway, I am blabbing enough. So, like I said earlier, I've got some Chopin tonight because I felt more comfortable with that than the Russian stuff. I will play the various Russian composers. I'll have that ready for 2 weeks from now, after the 31st, a couple days after the live show. I will make sure to have that stuff ready because it's some cool stuff. I can't wait to share it. So, let's see. I had not planned on a particular order for all of this stuff. Usually I have it all open and kind of ready to go. So I'll start off with this first one. This was published posthumously. I don't know, or rather the song from which this was made was published posthumously. Chopin is known as a piano composer. He really pushed forward a certain lyrical style, a singing style at the piano. but still making concert pieces out of a lot of his music. But he was uniquely good at making the piano sing, and he was known as the poet of the piano. A lot of his stuff it doesn't need words or anything. You just kind of get it without that. He did write a few songs for piano and voice. This is a piano solo version of one of those songs called, I don't know if it's Wiosna or Wiosna. Chopin was Polish. He lived in France, so a lot of his stuff is titles and such are in French, but in this case, this is in Polish. I don't know how the W is pronounced in Polish. I don't know, it's a pretty little piece to start the evening. I don't know if Amanda's doing applause or not, but I'll give it a sec. Yeah, so that is a song that was published posthumously. The piano solo version of it, of course, I'm not sure if it was actually ever published. I think the copy I was playing off of was maybe one that, it looks like one that somebody probably made like on Finale or one of those music notation programs. Yeah, it is. It's a pretty little song. The original one, I'm guessing, is longer than that. My guess would be, I don't know for sure. I haven't actually looked at the score, but my guess would be it had probably multiple verses, and that was the equivalent of one verse. Let's see, what do I want to play next? I put stuff in this folder somewhat. Yeah, Pam, is too short. Yeah, so that's something that Franz Liszt, I don't think, did any solo piano versions of Chopin's songs, but he did of a number of composer songs, Schubert kind of being the main one. And so the way Liszt approached it was really kind of cool, and I don't think anybody had ever thought to do this before Liszt came along. He would treat these multiple verse songs almost like a theme and variations, where the first run through, you get basically the piano part and the vocal line together on the piano, and it's just kind of how the composer wrote it. And then subsequent verses, Liszt would do stuff. You know, he'd bump it from like the melody line. If it was here, you know, he might bump it way up here, or he might do something like that, or yeah, he'd vary it and make it interesting to listen to as a solo piano piece, rather than if you take the straight interpretation of the song and you're just putting the vocal line on top of the piano part and playing the whole thing on the piano keyboard. You just have multiple verses. You usually just get the same thing over and over and over again. It gets kind of boring. So anyhow, it's kind of a cool thing that Liszt did. Let's see. Whoop. I don't know what Paul's talking about with footage that hasn't been made public. I don't know if I want to know. I'll probably look at it later. So, okay, next up, let's see. Put some nocturnes in this folder. Which one was I? Oh, yes, this one. Yeah, I played this one fairly recently on one of my shows, I think. This is Nocturne in G minor. This is Opus 15, number 3, relatively early one. And I remember talking about how this was used in the soundtrack of the movie The Deer Hunter. which I believe had starred Robert De Niro, among others. So this is Nocturne in G minor, Opus 15, Numero 3. I just realized that was in the same key as the first piece I played, both in G minor. Like that. Okay, let's see. I think, yes, Paul, it is. It's an octopus. What would we do without Darren Ingram, folks? What would we do? Oh, boy. All right, I am going to see. Most of what I put in here is Polonaises and nocturnes, I think, almost exclusively. I'm not sure how that worked out that way. Um, let's see. Let's open up this. Oh, yes, these two Polonaises. So, this first one, you guys will recognize this one. This is one of the most famous pieces Chopin wrote. Hopefully, I do it some justice. And actually, give me just a sec. I'm going to go turn on a light over here because this is weirding me out. I usually have both lights in the living room plus these ones turned on, and I don't have a light over here turned on, so that this whole part of the room over there is just dark. And it makes my... Maybe that means I'm an actual artist or something, because something like that is like throwing me for a loop. I don't know. Hang on a sec. That is much better. All right. So you will recognize this Polonaise in A major by Chopin. This is Opus 40, number 1, Military Polonaise. my mom asked me once if my arms ever get tired. My answer at the time was no. No, they don't. I hadn't just played that piece when she asked that question. My answer would be different after having played that. Yeah, that one. Oh man, that one it starts out loud. It just gets louder, and you can't let up on the intensity, And of course, like partway through, the thought pops into my mind, oh my God, how the hell are you playing this? This is like some kind of miracle that 10 fingers and 2 hands can do all this stuff on a keyboard. Yeah. People ask what goes through your mind when you're performing and or playing something. You don't have to be performing, just when you're playing. And usually it's just, I don't know, it's just whatever feeling the music is infusing in me at the time. But occasionally it's stupid thoughts like that just pop into mind. Your brain's like, hey, what you doing there? What's going on? How are you doing this? Is it going well? Are you going to screw up? Yeah, that happens. Okay, now, this next piece, this is published along with the Polonaise I just played. Nick says, I love watching process the sheet music. Not sure what you mean by process, unless you mean watching me process the sheet music, or I don't know, maybe you're watching the pages turn, because I think from that camera angle you can kind of see the screen here. Yeah, and so for those of you who don't know, I mean, you guys probably all know, but for those of you who don't know, I have a set of Bluetooth pedals down here that I use. I tap with my left foot to turn the page. The pedals on the piano, it's not an issue for the pedals on the piano. The right hand pedal, the one I use my right foot for, the damper pedal, holds the dampers up so I can do that, and you hear the difference when I'm not holding the pedal down. Lets the notes. It's called the damper pedal because it lifts the dampers, but really it should be called the sustain, and it is called the sustain pedal because it sustains the notes whether or not you're physically holding the key down. The middle pedal, unlike what Victor Borge once said, is not there to separate the other two, and it's not bad news for people with 3 left feet. The middle pedal on modern pianos, grands especially, I don't know about uprights and their smaller cousins, the spinets, but on modern pianos, the middle pedal does something kind of cool. If you press and hold a single key and then push down the middle pedal, it will hold just that one damper up. It's very handy for pieces like, there's this piece by Liszt that goes, so you can see my hand here. It's got this somewhat busy part here at the left hand, but then you have to periodically hit this key down here, and the notes change over the course of the song. So if you have a middle pedal and you can sustain that, you can hear the difference versus so anyhow, that's what, on this piano though, this piano was built, I think, before that particular technological advancement had happened. So on this piano and on cheaper modern pianos, what the middle pedal does is it lifts the dampers for the lower section of the keyboard. So if I push the middle pedal down on this piano, there it is. So it's the bottom 3 octaves on this keyboard. It just pulls up all the dampers for all those really low notes. So in a case like this piece by Liszt, it actually does work. Now, if that sustained held note in the bass ever creeps up above the A, then you're kind of out of luck on this piano. And then finally, the left-hand pedal, what that does on nearly every piano out there is, as you may be aware, the notes all, except for the lowest few bass notes, the notes all have at least 2 strings on them, and when you get about the middle of the keyboard and up, they've got 3 strings. on them. And what the left-hand pedal does is it shifts the keyboard and the whole hammer assembly, everything inside the piano, it shifts it all over a little bit. Release the pedal. So it shifts the hammers over so they can only hit 2 out of the 3 strings or 1 out of the 2 strings, and thus you get a softer sound without having to, you can still hit the keys just as hard and it's not going to sound as loud. On Fazioli pianos, Italian manufacturer, and these pianos are like, they're hand assembled. They're like a cheap Fazioli is like $120,000 or $150,000 piano. What the left pedal does is rather than shifting the hammers over, it shifts them closer to the string. So if you shift it over and it's only hitting 2 strings, if you're really picky, you slightly change what the instrument sounds like because it's only hitting 2 strings instead of 3. If you shift it closer to the strings, it physically can't hit them as hard. So you're still getting the same soft sound, but you're not altering the way the piano sounds. So it's a really cool invention. But as far as I know, Faziolis are the only ones that do that. Anywho, long digression, but I've got pedals in it. That's why I don't need to use the middle or the left pedal, because the left pedal is for soft, and who wants to play soft? And the middle pedal is really only useful for a tiny handful of pieces out there. So I use my left foot to hit the Bluetooth pedal to change the pages. I'm realizing Christina's right. I do talk a lot. All right, so this next piece, this is Polonaise in C minor. This is Opus 40 number 2. This is published along with the bum ba bum one. And I think at least one prominent music critic, whose name I've forgotten because they weren't prominent enough, has said that these two pieces together embody both the glory and the tragedy of the Polish people. So we've had the glory, here's the tragedy. I think Amanda said something. Did Amanda say something? Opus 40, number 2. Number 2. Yeah, the other one, the A major, the military Polonaise, the super famous one, is Opus 40, number 1. And I don't know that number 1 and number 2 have any real significance as far as like which was composed when or whatever. Just for whatever reason, the publisher decided to put them in that order when they published these 2 pieces together. Chopin. Polonaise is all up in here. Yeah, it's a cool piece. I really like that one, actually. And Amanda just ran by with the dogs. I'm guessing Lily decided that now would be a good time to go to the bathroom. So, yay, Lily, for telling us in some way, shape, or form. All right, we're going to give the Polonaises a bit of a rest, I think. And I probably won't even play anywhere near all the ones I've got here. Let's go back to a couple of nocturnes. Yeah, and you know, guys, I really like being able to share stuff that isn't necessarily what you would hear. Like if you turn on, you know, KDFC or some other classical radio station, isn't necessarily the kind of stuff that you would hear because it's not well known enough, so they don't play it, which is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you don't play it, how is it going to get well known? But there you are. There's a lot of great classical music that never ever gets played on the radio, and it's really too bad. Yeah, those two people, obviously the first Polonaise I played, of course, that's played all the time. So I'm going to skip this nocturne because unfortunately there's a section in, actually not even in the middle, it's the section at the end. It just gets ridiculously difficult. And look at this one, which I know I can play. This is Opus 48, number 2. This is Nocturne in F sharp minor. And this one, so this one is the piece that where I finally figured out how to play 3 against 2. And I know I've talked about this on my show before, where 3 against 2 is when you have 3 notes, triplets, going per beat in one hand. And then you have 8 notes going in the right hand. So it sounds, if I can do this, sounds something like. So that's 3 against 2, and you know it can be in various guises. Obviously, the right hand. I don't know what clicked, but something finally clicked a couple decades ago now, and I figured out how to do it. So this is Nocturne F sharp minor, Opus 48, numero 2. Yeah, I saw that Lucy. You know, when Lucy is annoyed or wants attention or wants something, she has a way of just sort of being underfoot, being around, and she was doing that while I was playing that piece. I don't know what she wanted, but she was out here sniffing around, going under the piano, going all sorts of places she doesn't normally go. And then she left before I was done. Dogs. What are you gonna do? Let's see. I think I've been on for about an hour now, so we just have 3 or 4 hours left. We're good. Amanda's putting something on the screen in a sec. She wants me to look at it. Okay. Let me hit play on here again and go live. Oh, Emily, thank you for the piano tunes. Love watching, listening to you play. You're amazing. Oh, thanks. Great job, as always. Thank you so much, Emily. Really appreciate it. I'm going to pause this again because it is really weird watching me do everything I just did a second and a half ago. Yeah. Anyway. What, Amanda? Oh, yes. Thank you again. I don't know if maybe it didn't come through. So thank you very much, Emily. Appreciate it. And love having you here. And yeah, you are a wonderful person. Thank you so much. Ooh, something's cool. Amanda, somebody says something's cool, Amanda. I don't know what. Oh, what you just put? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You ever have those times where you feel like a complete imbecile? This isn't one of those times, but it's pretty close. Oh, boy. Yeah. All right, what do I want to play next? How about some more nocturnes, because they're pretty great. Wait. Oh. Huh. Okay, here's a couple of nocturnes. I might play these two and then one more Polonaise and call it a night. We'll see how this goes. This is Opus 55, number 1, a little bit later than the one I just played. This is Nocturne in F minor. I don't know if there's really a whole lot to say about it other than the fact that it has a very march-like feel, bum, 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 sort of feel to it. I don't... most of Chopin's individual pieces I don't know a whole lot about, so I can't really... what's the word I'm looking for? Extemporaneous? Extemporize? I don't know. I'm trying to use words that are above my vocabulary level. I don't know that Hunter is here tonight to give some assistance in that regard. Anyhow, this is Nocturne in F minor, Opus 55, number 1, and we'll see how this goes. This is one of the pieces I've been playing a long time, other than just before the show. give that a second. Let's get there's any applause going. And following that is going to be the other nocturne that was published with this one. This is Opus 55, number 2. This is in E flat major. I just love that piece. And, those of you who are sharp-eared may have noticed that piece is much more freeform than a lot of the other ones I've been playing tonight. It's like the military polonaise has definite sections to it. Something like that. Very, very clearly defined sections to that piece. And this nocturne, they're there, but you really have to listen for them. It just sounds almost like a stream of consciousness. It's just sort of flowing out. And Chopin wrote a number of pieces like that. Really kind of cool that way. And also, I've been talking about playing. Hey, Hunter, playing different numbers of notes together. Those of you who are really sharp-eared may have heard it at the end there. We had 5 against 3. So not 2 against 3, not 4 against 3, which have their own challenges. 5 against 3. You get this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and you have to play 3 notes on the other hand. I'm not quite sure how I do it, and it kind of goes for speaking for anybody. I don't know how anybody does it. I don't know. I think by then the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in the left hand is steady enough that's rhythmically it's kind of on autopilot. I'm not really paying attention to what that hand is doing. I'm paying more attention to what the right hand is doing. Yeah. Yes, polyrhythm. Good name for a parrot. Huh. Anyway. All right. I'm going to attempt here. Let's see, do I want to try that one or do I want to try this one? Oh, I haven't played this one. This is a cool one, but I haven't played it in a really long time. Longer than this other one, which I just ran through. Yeah, polyrhythm. Very good, Emily. Yes, this happens if you give Paul a drum set. You get polyrhythm. Let's see, Nicole said she would love to hear more of that. Yeah, so Nicole, I actually wrote... I haven't played it in a really long time, so I don't know how well I can play it, but let's see, where did it go? Is it in here? No. Hold on, just there we go. Oh wait, I know where it is. Here. Yeah, so Nicole, I wrote an etude. Etude is French word for study, and typically an etude, historically, when they first started out, etudes were literally just finger exercises. And then, this composer named, early 19th century composer named Carl Czerny came along, and he didn't turn them into like full-on pieces of music, but they were a little bit more than just finger exercises. Really, it kind of wasn't until Chopin came along that the etude became a concert piece, but it didn't lose its roots in that it was still kind of an exercise. It's still something that a piece of music that explores a certain technique on piano. So I wrote this etude that's all you want polyrhythms, all 5 against 3, whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the right hand is. So maybe I'll play this piece by Chopin, and maybe I'll play that one, that etude, see how well I can play it to end the evening, as I haven't played it forever. So this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to skip this Polonaise by Chopin is one of my favorites, but it's also very long, and I haven't done an improv for you guys tonight. So let's see. Somebody... Actually, I remember from last time I did an improv and I solicited chords or something from the audience. Hunter told me E flat minor 7, which I didn't see in the chat. I think Emily's is like the third or fourth one, so I cottoned onto that and didn't notice the others till later. Excuse me. That's an E flat minor chord. There's E flat minor 7. So flat 7. Let's see what I can do with that. Let's see what happens. Improv. All right, Hunter, my friend, there you go. Improv on E flat minor 7. This is one of those times I kind of surprised myself. That was kind of cool. Amanda's putting something else up on the screen. Okay, I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. I need to hit play so I can actually see it and live. There we go. Yo. Okay, apparently Benjamin fell asleep listening to me. Well, if he's still asleep, then I applaud you, good sir. If you're still asleep, I pause it. Still asleep through all that. What, Amanda? He is a cutie. Oh my goodness. And he's getting so big. The last time I saw him, he had chubby cheeks. And I don't know if Mike... I think I forgot to send you the pictures, Nicole. I took of him. I put my 49ers hat on him and took a bunch of pictures. Proper Vikings fan. He's got to have pictures from some rival team in there somewhere. Especially, when he's not old enough to have any clue what's going on. He doesn't fit in the car seat anymore. Oh my goodness. He's a big boy. Wow. I guess time for a new car seat, right? Because he's, they have to be a few years old, I think kids do, before they can not be in a car seat anymore. Or maybe or is it over a certain height and weight? Maybe it's that. Mike is not thrilled. I will try my darndest to remember to send those to you, or at least you don't need all probably 50 of them, but send you a few of those. Oh, he's So yes, Pam, he's definitely growing. I didn't see that was from Pam. I just saw the comment itself. I thought it said he's growling, and I thought it applied to Mike. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't send those pictures if that's the response it's eliciting from Mr. Pierce. No, Hunter. Age does not correlate to a more enlightened choice of favored sporting team. Just look at who Mike votes for. Roots for, not votes for. Roots for. All right, I'm going to try and play this etude, this polyrhythm etude for Hunter and Nicole here. This is going to be interesting. I haven't played this in a long time. Well, it's not the easiest thing on the face of the earth, so we'll see how it goes. What, Amanda? This is my own composition, yes. It is called Prelude number 12 in G major, subtitled Un petit étude, a little etude, referring to, of course, its brevity. I wrote this about 5.5 years ago. Well, you get the idea anyway. There were some bonus notes in there. Um, yeah, that's one. I don't remember the last time I played that piece of music. And it's one that to do better job, you got to run through it a few times at least. But yeah, that might have been actually the only one of my 12 pieces I entitled Prelude. The only one that I haven't played on the show yet. So yeah, how's that for no practice? Let's see. Anything else? I'm going to go back to Chopin. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to play. I played this on the was it on the last Deep Cuts? Freedom, right? That was Mike's theme on the last Deep Cuts. I'm gonna play the end of the evening this the Chopin Nocturne again, the one I played on that Deep Cuts show. So if you missed Deep Cuts, here it is again. According to this, it was published posthumously, but it was written in 1830. Chopin died. Oh, what year did he die? He was at age 39. I think he died like 1849, maybe. So he was, yeah, he was probably around. No, that's not right. I don't know how the math adds up. Anyway, he was relatively young when he wrote this piece, and for whatever reason wasn't published during his lifetime. But yeah, one of my favorites. So the story behind this, if you didn't watch the Deep Cut show, the story behind why I chose it for that show and why I chose it for the theme of freedom was the film The Pianist was based on the real life story of oh crud, what was the guy's name? Vladislav. Shoot, I'm blanking on his last name. Amanda, if you can look that up for me, please, because I'm spacing. Oh, she's got okay. Spillman, that's right. Thank you. Okay, Vladislav Spillman. So it's based on his true life experience of being a refugee, a Jewish refugee, after Germany invaded Poland in World War II. And he had been living off of scraps for something like a year. The poor guy had basically whatever clothes he could scrounge up, whatever scraps he could find, that's what he was living off. He was not in great shape. And he was found by a Nazi officer. And for whatever reason, maybe this officer is a little bit better person, a little bit, because I still don't think there's any such thing as a good Nazi. For whatever reason, this officer talked to him, and Spillman thought the guy was going to kill him. This officer talked to him and said, God knows why, but asked what Spillman's profession was. And Spillman told him, I'm a pianist. And apparently in the house the bombed out house that Spillman was hiding in, there was this old, horribly out of tune piano. So the officer led Spillman over to the piano and said, well, play me something. I don't know how demanding the guy was. It may have been, just a request. Oh, can you play something for me? I don't know. This is the piece Spillman played. And as far as he knew, he was playing for his life. And it's, an incredible story. After he played, the officer asked him if he was Jewish, and then gave him some food and clothes. And as it turns out, Spillman told the officer, my name is Spillman. I used to play on Polish radio. I will probably play again after the war. If you ever need anything, look me up. And unfortunately, the officer died in a prisoner of war camp. Yeah, and Spillman survived. This is Chopin's Nocturne in C sharp minor, published posthumously, written sometime around 1830. And I think on that note, that's a good spot to call it a night. Oh, we still have promos. Okay, so... Ooh, look at me. Look at that position I'm freeze framed in. That's what's on my screen. All right, so Amanda, take it away with the promos whenever you're ready. Oh, we're switching rooms. We are hanging on to what I don't know. A thread, dear life, who knows? But we're hanging on to something. Yes.
Coming up tomorrow, it is 80s Night Part 2 on Amanda on Demanda. It's happening again tomorrow, the 18th at about 7:30 p.m. I do have a kids show that day, so I will be coming in right from that, so watch for that to start. And I will have special guest host, or not special guest host, special guest, Dylan White. It's going to be really great. So check that out tomorrow starting at 7:30. On Thursday, we're on number 107 of Hunter's Lovecast. That should be starting at 7 o'clock. Couldn't see that music happening. There we go. Thank you. How is that? That should be better. Anyways, so let's go back. We'll do it one more time. Tomorrow, 7:30, my show, 80s Night Part 2, Amanda on Demanda with guest Dylan White. So come on for that. It's going to be a really fun show. I've got some incredible stuff on the wheel and a great duet with Dylan. Then on Thursday, number 107, Hunter's Lovecast. That will happen at 6 o'clock tomorrow. As I was saying, I don't know if you could hear me, but stay tuned because that time may be changing. So make sure you're subscribed so you will know what is going on with that. So go ahead and make sure you hit that button. Next week, We're going to have a Dancing with Dari. That's going to be at 6:30 on Tuesday, the 24th. Get your steps in, get your heart rate up, and have a lot of really fun, cheerful times with Dari. It's a really, really fun night. And then, of course, we are coming up very soon on episode 100, Polly's Picnic. That is going to be a live show Memorial Day weekend on Sunday, the 29th in Garden Grove. So get your tickets. They are $20 each. Go to www.paypal.me/onlinevarietyshow. It's going to be a really fun time. So get your tickets for that. With that, we are going to go back to David Benjamin.
www. All the W's.
We have some more tips that I'm going to put up in a second.
Okie doke. Amanda's.
Take me a minute to get them set up.
Okay. So Amanda's putting up tips again in a sec. Oh, that's cool. She put "you are listening to." That's neat. Well, yeah, because I have the video paused because it weirds me out to see like what I just did a couple seconds ago, see it happening again on the computer screen. Yeah, it's really disconcerting. That is so cool. Oh my God. And there's the octopus. Yeah, Nicole. All the W's. Yeah, I can't wait for show number 100. I figured out what I'm gonna play for that show. I'll give you a hint. It involves improvising, and it involves audience participation. Be there. You're not going to want to miss it. It could be a disaster. We'll see. Depends on the audience. So if you don't want it to be a disaster, be there and don't screw it up. All right. Well, I'm not mad about anything, but I can vamp. I don't have the ire, but I got the vamp. Not ire, vamp. Yeah, I think I made that joke last time. We'll wait for Amanda to... Oh, yeah, that's right. She's putting tips or something on. Yeah, tips on the screen. I am hanging on. Holding. There's probably a song about that. Holding on to something. I don't know. Yeah. Almost. Okay. Or almost there. Oh, you thought, yeah, well, I decided to start seeing if there's anything else I could play since we've had a long break without playing anything, and I like to end with, playing something. Let's see if there's anything else I might want to do. Okay, there's one that's up. Turning it back on, going live. Oh, miss our friends the Banana Man and OBS Queen. Yes, she is the OBS queen, isn't she? Thanks for love the evening of tunes and storytelling. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Yeah, I miss you guys too. You guys need to oh, right. We were going to do a song for the show, weren't we? We need to figure that out. Awesome. Okay, apparently I'm not in on it. I'm on the... Then why didn't I see anything? Unless it happened tonight after I started my show. It's been days. Huh. iPad? I don't know why I haven't seen it. Anyway, okay, cool. Well, I will be checking that out then. I can't wait to... Yeah. Can't wait to get Damn. Yes, I did. Can't wait to get Damn going again. I look forward to that. Okay. One more. Okay. I'm live. Oh, she hasn't put it up yet. Yep. Okay. Got the delay here. There it is. Oh, from Barbara. Thank you. Another great show. Thank you so much. Yeah, this has been fun. I'm glad I did Chopin tonight instead of the other composers I was going to try and do, because I probably would have played some of the pieces okay, but some of them I wouldn't characterize as being super difficult, but challenging, and certainly ones I want to spend more than a day or two trying to get ready. So yeah, preview for 2 weeks from now. It's some pieces by Cesar Cui, Alexander Borodin, Mili Balakirev, Modest Mussorgsky, and Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, the mighty five Russian composers. I'll tell you guys more about them when we get to that show. And incidentally, that show is also going to be my 1-year anniversary show. My first show was May 21st of last year, I believe. So that show being on, I think that show, I looked at it on the calendar. Maybe it wasn't the 21st, but whatever day it was specifically. I looked at it on the calendar, and the show 2 weeks from now is a few days closer. Tonight's is a few days further removed from the 1-year mark. So I'm going with 2 weeks from now for the 1-year show. Let's see. I think let me see if I can scare up one of my own. We are damn good, huh? Menda? Is it a short one? Yeah, it can be. Oh, I forgot she has to get ready for her show. Right. That. Okay, well, how about we end the evening with another chord with a seventh. This is for you, Hunter. This is Prelude number 8. I did not call it C major. I called it C7 in the key C7. This is one of my pieces. Prelude number 8 in C7 called Reflections. And I call it C7 because it's like C major and E minor sort of on top of each other. So you have this really cool sound. It's that C with, that's a 7th. That there, that's where that came from. one of my favorite pieces that I've written in the evening. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. It's been, once again, a hell of a lot of fun. Great way to spend a Tuesday evening. I love playing this piano. I love sharing it with everybody. It's just, you guys are great. Thank you so much. And I'll hopefully see as many of you as possible in a little less than 2 weeks now, I think, at the live show number 100. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be so much fun. So if you haven't gotten a ticket yet and you are physically able to go, get yourself a ticket, be there. It's not one you want to miss. So hope to see you guys there. And until then, we'll see you in the chat tomorrow night for Amanda's show, and again on Thursday for Hunter's show, and off we go into the sunset. The sun already went down, so we can't really do that. Off we go into the moonrise. Good night.